Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a testing out Pinterest recipe, and I'm going to be doing a sticky bun recipe for this episode, and we're just going to see how it turns out. So here's wishing me all the luck, and without further ado, let's just get started. So the first thing you're going to need is a cup of milk, and then you need the milk to be warm, so I'm just going to put it in the microwave in 30-second intervals until it is warm to the touch. And then we are going to go ahead and add our yeast to it. You're going to be needing 2.5 teaspoons of dry active yeast, and you're just going to add that straight into the warm milk. The only issue I had at this stage of the recipe was that they were listing the ingredients not in the order of which you would use them. So it made it a little confusing to follow along with the recipe, but you're gonna let your yeast sit for 5 minutes until it gets nice and frothy and it becomes alive. And then at that stage, we're gonna move on to our dry ingredients. You're gonna need 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour, as well as 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 cup of white sugar, and you're gonna give this a mix. I will be doing this recipe in my stand mixer, but for the dry ingredients, I figured I'd just mix it with a spoon because it was really easy. And the nice thing with this recipe is it actually gave you the options to use either like your hands or a stand mixer. It gave you instructions for both. And we're gonna go in with our yeasty milk, and we're gonna go in with 1/3 cup of melted butter, and then we're just going to let it go for 5 minutes as the recipe says. I stopped mine a little early just because it really did look thoroughly mixed through. This might have caused me some issues in the future, but honestly I felt like if I went any longer it would have been overmixed. Once the dough is done, it calls that you cover it with a metal bowl, very specifically a metal bowl. Don't know why, but okay, and let that rise. So I set that aside to rise while I made the filling. So the filling was a cup of brown sugar, as well as 3 tablespoons of ground cinnamon, which looks like a lot of cinnamon when you put it in there, but it didn't taste like you used too much. It tasted like the right amount. And then you're just going to give that all a mix, and then you're going to set that aside as well. Now we're going to move on to making the gooey caramel sauce for the bottom of the pan that will make the sticky buns sticky, and for that you need 2/3 cup of brown sugar, 1/3 cup of butter, as well as 1 tablespoon of heavy cream. And then it calls for you to put this on the stove over a low heat until all of your sugar has melted and the sauce is smooth. I left this for 5 minutes and my sauce wasn't smooth. And then I left it for 5 more minutes and my sauce still wasn't smooth. Then I left it for 2 minutes and my sauce still wasn't smooth. So I don't know why it wasn't working for me. I think it needed a higher temperature, or this caramel sauce recipe just wasn't working, but my sauce never got to like a consistency where it was super smooth. As you can see there, it's still really grainy, and I didn't want to leave it any longer than that because it was going to burn at that point before it ever got smooth. So I'm just gonna put that on the bottom of my pan, which I have lined with some parchment paper, and then I'm going to sprinkle some raisins over it. It calls for chopped up pecans, but I don't like pecans. Or pecans. How do you guys like to say it? Anyways, back to the dough. I uncovered it and didn't really look like it rose, so lovely. But I guess I'll just carry on. So I moved on to rolling it out. Now I think it might have not rose, maybe it wasn't mixed properly, but honestly it looks mixed, so I don't know. And I rolled it out anyways, hoping that it would rise later on. And then I'm going to add my butter, and I just rolled it out into a rectangle. I'm going to add my butter on it, spread it all out with my fingers. Now taking that brown sugar and cinnamon mixture that we made a little earlier, I'm going to sprinkle it all over the dough. I want a nice even layer, so I'll sprinkle it slowly in layers. And honestly, at this point of the recipe, I was starting to lose hope. I really didn't know how this was going to turn out. But, you know, I just want to keep on going, because you never know, things could turn around. So now I'm just sprinkling on some more raisins for the filling inside, and then we're going to roll up our cinnamon rolls. So I slowly start at the edge, tucking it under and rolling it towards me, because that's just the easiest way to do it. And then once I had it all rolled up, I'm going to go ahead and start to mark it for where I want to cut it. So it wants you to make 12 rolls, so I just make a little incision right in half, and then each of those halves I'll make another incision right in the center, and then it makes it super simple to just carve out your 3 little rolls in each little quarter, and then you can cut following the lines that you made. And then we're just going to place that into our pan. And then we're going to cover these and leave them in a warm place to rise for another 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, they literally look like they shrunk. I don't even understand how that happens. But I went ahead and baked them anyways for 30 minutes at 400 like the recipe called for. And when I took them out, they looked really good, but they were not finished cooking. They were still raw. So I cooked them for like another 10 minutes, still raw. Cooked them for another 10 minutes. And then I forgot about them and they burnt, so that part was my fault. But honestly, this recipe just had a lot of issues in like many different steps, and this is the first testing Pinterest recipe that I've done where it was a fail. So honestly, I probably won't try this recipe again, but if you do and you succeed, please tell me what I did wrong. And if you guys want to see me testing another Pinterest recipe, let me know which one you want me to in the comments below. Until next time, guys, bye!